Millions of Americans who eat canned foods may still be exposed to a toxic chemical. The study that shows how many items are testing positive.
I get asked about the walls, or the wall, all of the time, and I said, you know what? A future physical wall isn't our problem. It's the current psychological wall that this White House has already built.
Boosting business in Mexico, a newfound sense of patriotism, all thanks to President Trump's stance on immigration.
We're very sneaky about it. We're like, I am Persian. Okay, we have a nuclear program. Okay, we have, but it is a peaceful nuclear program.
A comedian finding the punchline under the Trump administration. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. We start with developing news on the federal investigation into potential Russian interference with the presidential election. The Justice Department has appointed former FBI Director Robert Mueller as a special counsel to oversee the investigation. Today's appointment comes amid a growing Democratic outcry for an independent investigator. It comes on the heels of yesterday's revelation about a memo by fired FBI Director James Comey. He wrote President Trump asked him to end an investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Vista Congressman Darrell Issa expressed his faith in the new special counsel in a statement tonight. Issa says he's been pressing the Justice Department to take this step for nearly 3 months because Americans deserve nothing less than the truth. PBS NewsHour will have more on the fallout from Comey's ousting at the FBI and analysis over what's next for the investigation. That's tonight at 7, right here on KPBS. An internal human rights agency is asking the U.S. government to respond to allegations it violated the rights of a Mexican immigrant in 2010. Anastasio Hernandez Rojas died after customs officers shot him with a taser at the San Ysidro port of entry. KPBS Fronteras reporter Jean Guerrero has more.
Hernandez had been living in San Diego for more than a decade, but he'd been deported. He was detained after trying to cross the border illegally, and agents say he was being difficult. But cell phone video captured by witnesses a few hours after he was detained shows him lying on the ground, not resisting. The video, which is graphic, shows Hernandez repeatedly being tasered and beaten by officers as he cries for help. Since the incident, his family has been trying to get the U.S. government to admit fault, with no luck in the U.S. courts. But the family is now getting help internationally. Earlier today, Hernandez's widow shared that the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights has asked the U.S. government to respond to her complaints within 3 months.
It was news that really lifted my spirits, but I've never lost hope that the truth will come out, for the government to recognize its agents are guilty.
Roxana Alfals, one of the family's attorneys, shared more details about the petition.
We are alleging that the United States is not only responsible for the killing, but that federal agents tortured Anastasio, that the United States obstructed justice and failed to adequately repair the damages that it caused through its actions and inactions.
If the commission were to find the U.S. government at fault, it could ask agencies to implement legal and judicial reforms to ensure similar violations aren't repeated. Maria Puga says it was a slap in the face when the Department of Justice decided not to prosecute in 2015.
Pero en ese instante, yo siempre dije no.
But in that instance, I said, no, this is not going to end like this. Justice must come. That is the reason we're here.
Earlier this year, a federal judge approved the U.S. government's decision to offer $1 million to Puga's children. But Puga says that's not enough. She wants the government to admit fault in hopes this will never happen again. Jean Guerrero, KPBS News.
Canned foods may be harmful to your health. As KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg explains, a new report finds many canned foods still contain a chemical linked to birth defects and cancer.
The report comes from the Oakland-based Center for Environmental Health. The center tested more than 250 cans of food from major retailers in 9 states. It was looking for traces of the toxic chemical bisphenol A, known as BPA. The chemical was found in the linings of nearly 40% of the cans tested. The center's Charles Margulis says cans sold at some dollar stores were more likely to contain BPA.
Which means that people in neighborhoods where they rely on the dollar stores for a lot of their fruits and vegetables may be getting higher exposure to BPA. And these are typically neighborhoods that already suffer disproportionate toxic exposures in their daily lives.
Some research suggests infants and children may be especially vulnerable to the effects of BPA. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
Today, the highest-ranking officer in a massive Navy corruption scandal was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Former Admiral Robert Gilbo was the first active-duty admiral to be convicted of a felony last year. He admitted to lying to federal agents about his 20-year relationship with Leonard Glenn Francis. Authorities say the former admiral was one part in a very intricate case.
This case spanned decades. This case spanned many countries over the course of time, with many people receiving various things of value. He isn't the central figure, but his sentencing today was an important milestone for the case.
Francis, also known as Fat Leonard, was the Singapore-based defense contractor at the center of a bribery and fraud scandal. Investigators say he bribed Navy personnel with cash, prostitutes, top-shelf alcohol, and more. Soccer City San Diego officials say they're moving forward with plans to redevelop the Qualcomm Stadium site, even though they won't have San Diego State as a partner. The university says the FS investor proposal didn't meet their needs. Developer Nick Stone said in a May 9th interview, SDSU's participation isn't essential.
We could do it on a standalone basis. It's definitively not our preference, and you'll have heard all of our investors say repeatedly, we really want to support the university and its objectives here to secure a home for its football team. We don't honestly know where they're going to play football in 2020. So, but do we have to have it? No.
San Diego State University officials say the decision to go in another direction wasn't made quickly. San Diego State University Athletic Director John David Wicker says the school put a lot of effort into the talks.
With FS for, probably going on 2 years. Have had discussions with the mayor on what is important to San Diego State University, and that's not just a football stadium. It's also, the entire development. That seems to get lost, that there's, another 150 acres of property down there. Everyone wants to talk about stadium, but we also want to talk about a place for San Diego State University, the institution, to grow.
The university is asking the city to seek out other redevelopment proposals. Soccer City backers hope to have their ballot measure before voters in November. Well, if you see more bicyclists on the road tomorrow, that's because May 18th is Bike to Work Day. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says thousands are expected to participate.
Biking is still a relatively fringe way of commuting in San Diego. Bike to Work Day is an effort to make it more mainstream. Andy Hanshaw heads the San Diego County Bike Coalition. He says biking is an important part of reducing greenhouse gas emissions to fight climate change. And he says it's fun.
We want to encourage people to try it, to experience it, and then join our movement to make bicycling better. This is a one-day event, but really we want to promote it year-round, and we want to push for safer places for people to ride.
Cyclists can rest at more than 100 pit stops throughout the county. For more info, go to icommutesd.com. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
President Trump's stance on immigration is fueling a newfound sense of patriotism among Mexicans. It's reshaping the way consumers spend money in the San Diego-Tijuana region. And Mexico is reaping the profits that used to stay in the U.S. KPBS Fronteras reporter Jean Guerrero explains.
Este es el área, el area code.
Elizabeth Miranda is buying T-shirts at a store called Tijuana I Heart 664. 664 is the area code for Tijuana, which sits right across the border from San Diego. Like thousands of other Tijuana residents, Miranda used to drive into the U.S. to do clothes shopping in San Diego. But now Miranda prefers to shop in Tijuana. She says Trump's negative comments about Mexicans have made her want to show off her Mexican pride.
Pues la verdad me gusta comprar más aquí para apoyar lo que es a mi país y sobre todo pues igual a veces la variedad de los precios es más que comprar aquí. Entonces es por más que nada es por ser orgullosa mexicana y apoyar lo que es a mi país.
Miranda is not alone. Avenida Revolucion, one of Tijuana's busiest streets, used to attract mostly San Diego tourists in quest of cheap margaritas and Mexican souvenirs. Now it's crowded with residents as well. Hector Carrera works the cash register at a store called Dorato, which sells clothing and home decorating items geared towards locals. He says in Tijuana, everyone is talking about Trump.
It's definitely like a trending topic between everyone. Everyone knows about Trump, everyone knows about the wall, and everyone cares about it.
Mario Escobedo Cariñan, the president of Tijuana's Chamber of Commerce, says Trump's tough talk on immigration is offensive. Everything from his descriptions of Mexican immigrants as rapists to the claim that Mexico will pay for the new border wall. And it's been great for Tijuana retail.
Lo que ha hecho el presidente Trump es voltear nosotros hacia México, ¿no? Y querer hacer lo mismo que está haciendo él. Bueno, primero es Estados Unidos y luego el resto del mundo. Y nosotros, bueno, pues también.
Hola, ¿sabían ustedes que comprando en nuestro país y en especial aquí en Tijuana?
The Chamber launched a campaign in November, Yo Compro en Tijuana, or I Shop in Tijuana, to try to ride the new wave of Mexican nationalism. And it's been working.
I make the purses.
Felipe Acevedo sells arts and crafts made in Mexico. He says he's seeing a boom in sales to Mexicans.
Siento que toda la publicidad que se ha hablado de Trump, el bordo y todo lo que bla, 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 a lo mejor sí mucha gente local ha dejado ir a consumir productos americanos o ir a consumir a Estados Unidos.
While Tijuana has seen the benefits of the U.S. president's comments about Mexico, San Diego businesses are taking a hit. The neighborhood of San Isidro, which sits on the north side of the border, used to be a magnet for Tijuana shoppers. Not anymore. The San Isidro Chamber of Commerce says retail citywide has dropped 30 to 50% in the past year. Sunil Gakreha owns Sunny Perfumes in downtown San Isidro.
99% of our customers are Mexico-based. If they don't cross, we don't sell. And basically not just my store, all over San Isidro.
He says he's seen a 50% decrease in sales since Trump was elected. Olivia Campos is the owner of Carolyn Shoes next door. She says rumors tied to Trump's hardline stance on immigration are also discouraging people from crossing the border into the U.S.
Tienen miedo de que les quiten sus pasaportes, sus green cards. Mucha gente está diciendo hasta que les están checando los celulares.
Campos says sales in her store have dropped 70% since November. Business in San Isidro was already hurting last year because of a plummeting Mexican peso, which was hurting the purchasing power of Tijuana consumers. But the exchange rate has since stabilized. The president of the San Isidro Chamber of Commerce, Jason Wells, now says that fear, uncertainty, and anger tied to the Trump administration are to blame for the struggling economy.
I get asked about the walls, or the wall, all of the time. And I said, you know what? A future physical wall isn't our problem. It's the current psychological wall that this White House has already built.
He says San Isidro is trying to devise new strategies to recover lost business, perhaps diversifying products and services or offering discounts. But for now, Mexico continues to reap the profits that once belonged to the U.S. Jean Guerrero, KPBS News.
The world's oldest active sailing vessel gets a makeover. Star of India has a new deck. The renovation took 3 years. Museum officials worked with specialists to ensure the ship's historic form was preserved. The ship was first launched in 1863. It's been a merchant vessel, immigrant ship, and now a downtown museum. The project was partially funded by the National Maritime Heritage Program. Sunshine and warm weather for San Diego. Aaron Calandra has tonight's forecast.
Well, it's been kind of a cloudy, cooler pattern here the last couple of days, and that will be breaking in another couple of days or so. The influence is coming from this system that is far to the north of us. Here you can see some of it to our east and north. Well, that is what's bringing us all the cloud coverage, and that is blowing away to the east, and that means things will be clearing up for us. We don't see anything, though, on this radar. Tonight, 58 degrees, pretty cloudy. Those clouds will break up in those morning hours. Along the coast, though, of course, it will remain a bit cloudier later on in the day. Taking a look across the region, Borrego Springs, nice and warm, 60 degrees for the overnight low. Mount Laguna, chilly, 38 degrees. Definitely put on a coat if you're heading out there tonight. Alpine, 46, Ramona, 45, Poway, 52, and Oceanside, 52 degrees. And those clouds are thinning out the further east we get, and of course thicker along the coast. Well, here's this low pressure system. That's what's blowing through the region, causing so much weather turmoil in our region. The jet stream is really low. See how low it has dipped. Well, that's bringing in chilly air from Canada, keeping the southwest pretty cool here the next couple of days. So taking a look at our region for tomorrow, some of our highs, 72 degrees in Oceanside, Poway 78, Borrego Springs 89 degrees, Mount Laguna a bit cooler at 62, Alpine 73, and San Diego 70 degrees. This is what it's going to look like this weekend. We have some strong thunderstorms moving through the deep south and into the Mississippi Valley. Meanwhile, the northeast, it's been extremely warm the last couple of days. They're going to cool down back to average temperatures for this time of year. And in the southeast, well, they're in a drought. They certainly need some wet weather, and it's not coming anytime soon. But for us, it is warming up. Nice and warm the next couple of days. You can see it right here in this 5-day forecast. 76 on Friday, Saturday 80 degrees, just a bit cooler by Sunday, and the beginning of your work week will be nice and pleasant with plenty of sunshine. Inland, it's a bit warmer. Lots of sunshine, though. 86 degrees on Friday. Saturday, we're at 89, and by Sunday, we're in the 90s. But by Monday, it's going to drop back down to the 80s and be very pleasant. In the mountains, it's always a bit cooler. 66 degrees there for Friday. Saturday, we warm up to the 70s and stay there for at least the beginning of the work week with plenty of sunshine. And in the deserts, we're reaching 101 degrees on Sunday. Certainly drink plenty of water. For KPBS News, I'm Erin Calandra.
The days could be numbered for California salmon and other native species. A new UC Davis study finds 45% of the state's salmon, trout, and steelhead fish populations could disappear in the next 50 years. Researchers say warmer temperatures are partially to blame. Environmental experts say legislature should continue to invest in water infrastructure projects, including groundwater basins and above-ground reservoirs, to help reverse the trend. You can expect fast rides and tasty fair food at the San Diego County Fair. This year, the fair takes a step back in time to the Wild West. KPBS North County reporter Allison St. John gives us a sneak at the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
So here we are at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, where the Del Mar Fair is going to start next month. The theme of this year's fair is Where the West Was Fun. And of course we have cowboys, we have alpacas, we have costumes, we even have an Asian-themed speakeasy. And of course we have great music.
Our Toyota Summer Concert Series on the Heineken Grandstand stage will feature 26 nights of music and comedy for everyone to enjoy, including Toby Keith, Darius Rucker, Patti LaBelle, Peter Cetera, Frankie Valli, and the Four Seasons for those of you who are of my vintage.
And then, of course, there's the food. Plenty of food here to satisfy your inner child. And there's even meditation to nourish your inner child. And if the idea of all the traffic puts you off, there are other ways to get to the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Well, we would love to offer the Fair Tripper, which is from North County Transit District. It's $20, and that gets you a ride on the Breeze, the Coaster, and the Sprinter all day long. And you also get admission to the fair with that price.
The Del Mar Fair is is the largest fair in the state of California and the 5th largest county fair in the United States. Allison St. John, KPBS News.
Oh no, they got you too? What kind of person hates Arabs and Jews?
Comedian Maz Jobrani stars in the primetime comedy Superior Donuts. He plays an Iraqi businessman. He helped launch the Axis of Comedy tour. They tackled politics, race, and stereotypes about the Middle East.
I'm the Iranian. It's funny because I tell them, my American friends, I go, yeah, I'm Iranian. They go, oh, so you're Arab. And I'm like, no, we're actually different. We're not Arab. But, I mean, we're similar. We're all getting shot at. That's one thing.
The Iranian-American actor studied political science at UC Berkeley. He ended up going into comedy. From our sister station, KQED Newsroom's Thuy Vu talks to Jobrani about his family and how it helped shape his career.
Well, more about your Iranian background. Your family fled Iran during the 1979 revolution. You were 6 years old at the time. So given that background, what's the message that you want to put out there? And how would you describe your comedy? Is it political comedy?
Yeah, my comedy, somebody asked me a little while back, because I have young kids as well now. I have a 6-year-old girl, 8-year-old boy. So I always say in my comedy I take on social issues, political issues, and my kids. So it touches a wide array of things. And of course now with the Trump administration, it feels like the political stuff has gotten even more pertinent right now. I just filmed a Netflix special that'll come out later this summer, but I did it in Washington, D.C. at the Kennedy Center, basically in Trump's backyard, and I call it Maz Jobrani Immigrant, because I really want to make a point about how you're an immigrant, I'm an immigrant, and how immigrants come to America because we love America. We want to come here and make America better, make ourselves better, and there's just such an anti-immigrant sentiment that's out there in some parts of this country, and a lot of it is coming through our president. And so I want to fight that message by getting out there and letting people know that we are good people and we should be accepted.
So how do you think you fight that message? In what way?
Well, I think that part of it is, one of the things is when the travel ban happened, I got really upset with the travel ban because it made me, first of all, I started hearing real stories of real people being affected by it. As an Iranian-American comedian, people were sending me their stories. And it reminded me of when I came to America. Actually, we arrived late '78, and I thought, what if I had left the revolution, come to America, landed here, and just as it happened to a few people, they would have put me back on a plane with my family and sent me back to Iran. What kind of trauma would that have caused me? What kind of trauma would that have caused my family? How would that have affected my destiny? So when you think about that and it becomes personal, originally I just went out there and started posting on Facebook and telling people my story, and then it just caused people to argue. So I said, you know what, rather than posting like that, I'm just going to start putting out the stories that I'm hearing, the real stories. And so when I would get articles of different people being affected by this, I would post it on my Facebook page, or I would talk to friends of mine. I had a friend of mine who's a Republican who really did not understand all the fuss that was being made from the protesters. And he thought that it was just a little bit of an inconvenience at some airports. And I said, no, people are being affected. So once people, I think, hear the real life stories of other people, I think it opens their eyes. And I think Americans in general are sympathetic people. And so that's what I try to do.
So that's the serious side of you. And then the comedic side of you. For example, in your show Superior Donuts, do you ever feel worried that you might be reinforcing certain stereotypes?
Well, the thing with Superior Donuts is, it's a sitcom. And in all honesty, as an actor of Middle Eastern descent, I always say, like, I'm playing a businessman from Iraq. So that just in itself is a huge step compared to what we're used to playing. We're used to playing terrorists. We're used to playing...
You played a terrorist at one point in a Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah, early on I played a terrorist in a Chuck Norris movie. I played a terrorist in the TV show 24. And then after I did the 24, this was years ago, it just put a bad taste in my mouth. So I told my agents, no more terrorist parts. But I don't mind playing... falafel store owners or cab drivers or any of those, because I know Middle Easterners that are that. However, with that said, I feel like this thing in Superior Donuts, as much as the character is this businessman who's trying to buy up the buildings in the neighborhood, they give me a lot of funny lines, and I've been getting a lot of positive responses from people that are not of Middle Eastern descent. They've hit me up on social media, and they're enjoying the character. So I think that as long as we can start making people like characters of Middle Eastern descent in film and television, I think that that's a good push in the right direction.
And a lot of comedy comes from challenges, right? And from tragedy. Are there times when the tragedy is just so great, though, that you can't joke about it?
Well, I always say if there's a tragedy, I think that I never make fun of the victims of anything. Like after September 11th, for example. In all honesty, when September 11th happened, I just thought that no one could ever be funny again. I was so devastated by the whole thing. You know, the song, The Day the Music Died, I felt like it was the day the comedy died. I just thought, how could we ever be funny again? But then quickly, when I started seeing that the Bush administration was using those attacks as an excuse to go into Iraq, I realized, oh wow, there's actually a job for us to try and talk about some of this stuff. And then you also make fun of the terrorists. You make fun of them. And those are the people you make fun of. You don't make fun of the victims, you make fun of the perpetrators of the crime.
You had studied political science at UC Berkeley. You even started a PhD program, but your real love was acting. And here you are with parents who are immigrants from Iran. What did they think of that?
My parents wanted me to be a lawyer originally. Then,
of course they did.
Of course, because immigrant parents want you to be a lawyer or a doctor. And when I didn't become a lawyer, I thought maybe I'd be a professor to kind of please them, but also be able to be in front of a crowd. And then I started a PhD program, and I dropped out of that. And I swear to God, my mother actually said, she goes, you did not become a lawyer, you did not become a professor. At least become a mechanic. I swear to God. And I go, how'd you go from lawyer to mechanic? And she goes, people need mechanics. Nobody needs an actor. And she was right. But
they need a comedian.
They need a comedian. Here I am.
Ba-dum-bum. Mastro Brani, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Tui.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.